Elijah prays for rain. It had not rained for over 3 years because people had turned away from God to worship false gods. After the contest on Mount Carmel, people knew that it was God, not the false gods of Baal and Asherah, that had power. Elijah knew that God had promised to send rain and told King Ahab, "Go eat and drink, for there is the sound of heavy rain." Elijah and his servant climbed to the top of Mount Carmel. Elijah bent down to the ground with his face between his knees and asked God to send rain. Then he told his servant to go and look towards the sea for any sign of rain clouds. Elijah's servant went and searched the sky for clouds, but there were none. He turned to tell Elijah the sky was clear. Elijah prayed again, then sent his servant to see if God had answered his prayer. The servant searched the skies above the sea, but returned to tell Elijah there was no sign of rain. Elijah prayed for a third time, then sent his servant again. The servant climbed and looked out over the sea. He returned to say there was still no sign of rain. Elijah refused to give up. God had promised to send rain, and God keeps his promises. He prayed a fourth time. The servant was sent to look for any sign that God had answered Elijah's prayer. But he returned and shook his head. Elijah responded by praying to God for a fifth time. The servant went to look again, but the response was the same, no sign of rain. Elijah persisted and prayed a sixth time for God to send rain. The servant went to look over the sea. From the top of the mountain, he could see for a very long way to the horizon. The servant could only report there was still no sign of rain. Elijah refused to give up and cried to the Lord a seventh time. The servant wearily went to look over the sea for the seventh time. He searched the sky, and to his amazement, he saw a cloud the size of a man's fist rising from the sea. He rushed back to tell Elijah. Elijah said, "Go and tell Ahab to get his horses hitched up to his chariot and go to Mount Sinai before the rain stops him." Meanwhile, the sky grew black with clouds. The wind rose. A heavy rain started falling. King Ahab rode off towards Jezreel. The power of the Lord fell on Elijah, and, tucking his cloak into his belt, he ran ahead of Ahab. Jezreel was as far away as the distance of a marathon run. Elijah ran the whole way ahead of King Ahab's chariot.